Hello and welcome to our new Orcharhino Tech Update video. Today we are proudly presenting a new major version, Orcharhino 7.0. But what does that mean for you? What changes and new features are coming with a new release? First of all, Orcharhino 7.0 comes with a new design. In the corners in the upper right and lower right, you can already see the new Orcharhino logos. In addition, now we are using stronger colors and stronger contrasts to make work with Orcharhino even easier than it already was. But why just talk about it? Let's have a look on how things have changed. On the next slide now you can see how Orcharhino 6.11 looked until now. And now let's have a look on how things have changed with 7.0. Welcome to Orcharhino 7.0. But let's have a look on an actual Orcharhino. So now we can see the login shell. We see the changed colors, a darker green, a different logo. So let's log on. Typing in username and the password and getting on board. So now you can see the host page. You see the colors have changed. We are using a darker green, a different logo, stronger contrasts to make everything more readable. Darker fonts, as I said, stronger contrasts. Let's have a look on one host here. And also here you see the colors have changed to make work with Orcharhino even easier as before. But now let's also have a look on the technical aspects. Orcharhino 7.0 comes with full support for Enterprise Linux 9. This means a new Orcharhino installation on 7.0 will be possible on Red Hat 9, Oracle 9, Alma Linux 9, and Rocky Linux 9. Existing Orcharhino installations, which are upgraded from 6.11 to 7.0, will remain on EL8 for now. We will provide an in-place upgrade from EL8 to EL9 with the upcoming version 7.1. This in-place upgrade will have to take place before continuing upgrading to 7.2, as Orcharhino 7.2 will be an EL9 release only. With Orcharhino 7.0, we are introducing a new feature, the so-called rolling content views, which will provide an alternative to the standard content view scenario. In the standard content view scenario, you created a content view, you assigned repositories, you published a new version, in this way freezing package states in time, which allowed for version control on a given server. In case you wanted to assign repositories in their latest and greatest state, until now it was necessary to use the so-called default organization view. Since the default organization view consists of all repositories on Orcharhino in their latest and greatest state, it could get quite confusing to keep track which repositories were enabled on a given server and which ones weren't. This now gets much easier with rolling content views. With rolling content views, you just have to create a rolling content view and you have to assign given repositories. And that's it. Now you subscribe a host with an activation key where this rolling content view has been assigned, and then on the host only the repositories which are part of this content view will be listed so that it gets much easier to keep track what's enabled and what's not enabled. Now let's have a look in live action how rolling content views work. So we are back on our Orcharhino on the all hosts page. So let's create a rolling content view. So I now go here to Content, Lifecycle, Content Views. We wait for the content view page to load. Will take a couple of seconds since we already got quite a few content views. Now we create a content view. Clicking on Create a Content View, selecting a name, for example Rolling Alma Linux 8. I select Rolling Content View and I click on Create Content View. Now actually we have to click on Show Repositories to see which repositories are available. So what repos would we need? Basically we need operating system repositories, the Orcharhino client, EPEL, and then also SaltStack and Puppet would be nice. So since Alma Linux is a Red Hat system, we are looking for YUM repositories. So let's filter for type YUM and then look for repositories. So we are looking for Alma, for EPL, for SaltStack, and for Puppet. So now let's filter to make it easier to pick the correct repositories. So now I select the Alma Linux client so that the host can subscribe. I select AppStream. I select the base OS, EPL. Now I scroll down. I select Puppet for EL8 and I select SaltStack. And now all I have to do is add repositories, and that's pretty much it. Now the content view is being created and can be assigned to servers right away. All what we now need is to create an activation key. So let's do that. Let's have a look on activation keys, which are basically the same setup here. It's in content lifecycle activation keys. So I click here on create activation key. I call it, for example, Alma 8 rolling. I have to select the library. Now we have to wait that orcharhino figures out which content views are available in the library environment. So it's done. Now we scroll down. We just select rolling Alma Linux 8 and save. Now we have to enable the correct repositories. We go here and you see only the repositories which I added to the rolling content view are now accessible, which makes it easier to see which repositories are enabled and which one aren't. I select Action, click Override to Enabled, and our activation key is ready. And we are ready to go to subscribe a host to use latest and greatest repositories just like this. Another update that we are providing is that orcharhino now is coming with a new major version of SaltStack. Until now, orcharhino was running SaltStack in the version 3005. orcharhino 7.0 now fully supports SaltStack 3006. But also a second config management tool on orcharhino is coming with a major upgrade. In addition to Puppet 7, now orcharhino also fully supports Puppet 8. So what else is new? orcharhino now comes with full ARM64 client support. So what does this mean? This means that we now provide orcharhino client repositories for Alma Linux, for Debian, for Red Hat, for Rocky, for SUSE, and for Ubuntu, all on the ARM64 architecture. In addition, this means that we now also provide full AWS support for orcharhino clients running on Graviton architecture. Last but not least, we would like to present a tech preview. The Resource Quota plugin for orcharhino clients. With the Resource Quota plugin, you will be able to create a resource quota specifying CPU cores, memory, and disk space. When now deploying a server referencing the disk quota, you will be able to limit resources spent on the quota and also track how much of the resources already have been spent. As I said, this is a tech preview. Please use with caution and please don't use it on a productive system. But now let's actually have a look on how it looks live on action on orcharhino. Let's create a resource quota and see how it works. So now we are back on our orcharhino on our host page. I go here to configure and you will see that there is a new tab called resource quotas. Here now I will create a new resource quota. Let's call it, for example, demo, and assign CPU cores. For example, let's say 20 CPU cores, memory, let's say 50 gigabytes, and maybe 250 gigabytes of disk space. We create, and now we got a disk quota. So let's now deploy a host assigning this quota. So I go here to create host. Just let's call it quota. We select Omnix 8, so we will see everything will be filled out. But the quota, so now let's assign the quota we just created and see what resource is going to use up. So we click here on virtual machine. So this host is going to use 2 CPUs, 2.5 gigabytes of RAM, and 30 gigabytes of disk space. So let's submit that and build the host. So now the host is on the run. Let's cross-check with our quota. So we go back to our quota tab. I select demo. Sometimes it takes a few minutes until everything gets refreshed. So you can see here, nothing can be seen. In case you're impatient, you can speed things up by clicking on this button. And now we can see that our host is already using up 10% of assigned CPU cores, 5% of assigned memory, and 12% of the disk space. So you see it's a very efficient way to actually track how much resources have been used, and if accordingly configured, you can also set things up that you cannot exceed the defined resources right here. So now we are at the end of the Orcharhino Tech Update video. I hope you enjoyed all the great new Orcharhino features. Hope to see you the next time again. Have a nice day, and bye!